Hi, this is Tim Rohr from the Utah Conservatory, and this is one of our Week 1 videos in our Music Theory for Composition course. Today we're going to be talking about the website Noteflight.com and how to use it for our course. Noteflight.com is an excellent resource for beginning composers. It's what we call music notation software. And it also has some other features that are going to be really useful for the class. Noteflight.com, the basic subscription to Noteflight is free for all users. There is, however, a premium subscription that is that's $49 a year, and an educator subscription that is $69 a year. And both the premium and the educator allow unlimited scores and some other special features. We're just going to be focusing on the basic subscription for right now, though. As we talk about this. The other wonderful tool with Noteflight is it is a social networking site as well, which allows us to collaborate, which means that when you change some settings on your score, you can actually allow other people to see it. And so that's why we'll be using it in this course. There are some excellent other tools, though, for music notation. We'll talk about a few of those right now. We've got Musescore. There's a wonderful resource. It is actually another free resource. And it has unlimited scores for that. It's just something you download on your computer, and it is very comprehensive. It has lots of features. The one downside to Musescore is that it is open source software, and what open source software is a community of developers come together and they create it. And because it's not a commercial one, because it is open source like this, it is actually going to have some bugs in it, and occasionally may crash on you and have other problems. Again, it's a wonderful resource, though. I know a lot of teachers and a lot of composers that still use it, even though it does have some bugs. If you're interested in getting some commercial software for music notation, the biggest by far is probably Finale by the company Make Music. And it's a wonderful, wonderful resource. It's actually what I use primarily when I'm doing composing. When you buy the full version of Finale, it has a wonderful library of sounds, so that when you put something in the computer, it sounds almost like what you would hear from an orchestra or from an actual performer. Sometimes it's a little off, but still pretty close to what you would hear from a live performer. Lots of great tools with Finale. It is a little bit hard to use. And because of that, a lot of users, a lot of people that use it are a little bit put off by that. The most popular besides Finale is going to be Sibelius, and Sibelius is another wonderful commercial resource. It's easier to use than Finale, and I know a lot of people say they prefer Sibelius over Finale because of that. And so you kind of, if you decide to use them, then you kind of have to weigh that in. Sibelius is easier to use, but Finale has more features than Sibelius does. If you want to try out Finale or Sibelius, they usually have either trial versions of those so that you can see which one you like better. Or Finale itself has Finale Notepad, which is currently a free edition of Finale. It's a little bit stripped down, so it doesn't have all the features, but it gives you a chance to really delve into what Finale does and how it works. The other excellent resource that I've just started using recently is Notion for the iPad, and they also make a PC version of this that's $149. The iPad version is $11, which is a little bit more expensive for an app, but it is so comprehensive in all the things that you can do with it that it's a very valuable resource. Now this right here is our Noteflight.com website. And what we're going to want to do is to get signed up for one of the free accounts, again, unless you decide you want to go with one of the premium ones. So what you'll need for signing up is an email address that you can use regularly so that they can send you information, different things. And you'll also need to create a password. To do this, they've got either the sign up from the very beginning that asks for that information, or up in the top right corner of the screen when you view that website, there is that sign up button up there. It'll ask for the information we talked about earlier, an email address, and to create a password for that. When you're inputting notes, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. First off, though, you're going to want to create a new score. And you do that a couple different ways. Usually up in the top left, there's either just a button that says New Score. You can create through that way. Or if you're already working on a score, you just highlight up over the Noteflight their logo there, and it'll pull to the side a sidebar that'll also let you create a new score. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a score from a blank score sheet. There is also the possibility of importing from an XML file or a MIDI file. We'll talk about what those are a little bit later. Now, automatically, the score starts out as piano. If you decide that you really don't want it as piano, there's some things that we can do to change that. So what you would do is, first off, you add another instrument, and just kind of showing the instructions up there. So you'd go to the instruments up at the top and add an instrument, and then whatever instrument you decide, you'd put that into the score, and at that point you can then delete the piano out of the score. Now when you're putting the actual notes into the score, what you want to first do is select the length for the rhythm, whether that's whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, or whatever it is. And we'll talk about all the specifics of what that means if you're not familiar with those terms later on. And then you'd put the mouse cursor over the spot on the score where you'd want to put it, and that you just click it in, and it puts it into the score for you. Off in the future, when you get comfortable with the note names, you can also use a keyboard just to type in the notes. So if I hit the key D on the keyboard, it's going to put in a D that's closest to where the last note was. And then if you're wanting to go higher or lower, then you just use the arrow keys to move it up and down. And I find actually that using a keyboard is a very quick way of putting in notes when we're doing this. I use this especially in Finale when I'm trying to put in a score. Off in the future too, if you happen to have a MIDI keyboard that you can plug into your computer, you can actually just plunk out the keys on that MIDI keyboard, and that's an even quicker way of putting notes into the computer. Now, as a big part of the class is going to be the collaboration, the ability to communicate with the class members. I want to show you how we can let other class members view the assignments that you've been working on. So the first thing you're going to want to do to let others in the class view the assignment is click on the Connect button in the top right corner of your browser, which is circled up there, and then you're going to need to change access to the score. Whenever you put a score into Noteflight, the default is always that only you can see that. So go ahead and then you'd click on the Change button right there. And from there you can either do one of two things. You can either share with everyone, which allows anybody that's a Noteflight user to see that, or you could just share it with a group, and that group is going to be the semester group. Since each class is going to have their own separate name for that group, we'll give that to you in your class, so we won't show it in this video. But that's the basics of Noteflight. If you have any more questions, comment in the comment section below this video, or email your instructor and get a hold of them through our Facebook